This NL West betting preview edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in all 50 states and you'll get $20 free with the promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Sunday, February the 22nd. We are here with number 3 of our divisional betting previews. This time round, it is the NL West. And joining me for the first time, I reckon, since the middle of last October, is Mr. Lonte Smith. Lonte, long time no speak. I am absolutely delighted to see your little face.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to see you as well, man. It's been, a long 6 months, but we got another 6 months to go together that we'll be seeing each other,
Yeah.
2-3 times a week. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we did pretty good I'll try to go back and listen to the division previews of last year. I think we did pretty good on the ones that we were
that's
on.
a good idea, actually. I haven't done
Yeah,
that.
so yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Now this division is not as sexy with the Dodgers at the top, but overall, man, it should be at least some kind of value in win totals at least.
I think 6 months on, 6 months off. It's not a bad system, I could do that with a family really easily. Like that's this. I think we've got this sorted, Lonte. 6 months on, then have a little 6 month break. You see how full of enthusiasm we are now because I haven't spoken to you for 6 months. Yeah, myself and Dylan did the NL East last week. You and Scott did the Central. I listened to that in bed last night. I went to bed with you and Scott in either ear, which I very much enjoyed. So yeah, we get a nice new combination of presenters. I think Scott mentioned on the show last night. We got divisional previews. Then we're going to do some WBC. And then we'll do the awards and props and you name it. And then all of a sudden, it will be opening day. So we can't wait for that. Got a couple of people in the chat already. I was first in. Data Metal Machine was second in, claiming he needs subtitles to understand me, but I think he's joking. Bear Commanders was in as well. What's up? If you are here, by all means, say hello. With it being a new season as well, I'd remind you all to like and subscribe and maybe tell a friend, that kind of thing, so we can get off to a good start for the new season. You can get the SGPN app free in your app store. It's got all the picks and podcasts in one easy to access app. So the NL West's not the best betting angle. There's plenty of angles in, actually. You have to work a little bit harder to find them, don't you? Because you've got the LA Dodgers, who are extremely prohibitively priced to win just about every angle. However, that does make some value on some other spots, and I've got at least 2. In fact, one pick I've recycled from my NL East. It's the same pick, but just using different words. So we'll get to that. I'll fully explain in a little minute. But we'll kick off with the favourites. There's only one place to start, really, which are the reigning champs, the LA Dodgers. I have not filled my boots on them this year because there's no 5-1. I spent all last winter stocking up on the 5-1 with the little price boost that one firm was doing. But there's no 5-1 kicking around. You can get plus 225. Maybe there might be a bigger price somewhere, but I'm saying plus 225 for the World Series, plus 125 for the National League, minus 666 to win this division. Yeah, Lonte is shaking his head. That is a skinny price. Playoffs, I just wrote NA because they're like, there's no point at all. And the total is at 103.5, the over-under. So they won 93 games last year. So that totals a 10-point leap for a kickoff. They were 3 games above the Padres. They only just... I kind of got the feeling they held them at arm's length a little bit, like the swinging dwarf kind of situation. But it was only 3 games. They weren't that special on the road. They finished 41-40 away from Dodger Stadium. But Lonte, I mean, did you find a betting angle? Do you just sort of wave the Dodgers past and see what's in behind them? How did you attack this?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at them at all. I mean, just it's no value in doing anything with them. The only thing that I can see, like, I mean, the win total is 100 plus games, and I think it's probably fairly priced just because of how well they've done this offseason. And it's particularly like their pitching rotation is a lot healthier. I think that was a thing that we talked about last year. Like we didn't know where the consistent pitching was going to come from, especially with Shohei being kind of in and out of the lineup. So I think they shored that up. I think they'll be. I mean, obviously they'll be fine offensively, always at the top of the majors, not just the NL, in all statistical categories. I mean, it's tough to find anything to do with it. Like if you were going to do anything, I would just go under, just maybe some injury luck, but then you're betting on injury, which is always a horrible thing to do. So I mean, it's just, excuse me, it's just tough, man. They're just so good. It's really not a lot of holes in the lineup. I mean, if you want to nitpick maybe the back end of the lineup and maybe some bullpen stuff, but I mean, you're really kind of just like grasping for straws at that point. So I didn't have a ton on it, man. I mean, it's just like I can't bet anything. Like my rule of thumb is I can't bet anything under 3-1. Any preseason stuff. I mean, they're going to go through a funk, of course. All teams do, no matter how good you are. We saw them go through a couple of those where I think they lost maybe like 8 of 10 a couple of times. So that maybe, and you maybe get kind of an injury, some guys banged up, and you can buy low then. But I don't know if they can get. I don't think they'll get anything over 3-1 in the entire season, which is, I mean, extremely hard to bet, especially long term. So yeah, I'll stay away from the Dodgers, but maybe if you want to bet some award stuff, like some Shohei stuff or like some things like that, maybe. But again, it's going to be hard for them to actually, those unless they have a, phenomenal year. Like it's going to be hard for them to win any individual to win anything because they're just so good. They just cancel each other out. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Dodgers are tough, man. I mean, they're just an unreal team. It's like you playing, MLB 26 and you're just cheating. You got all the sliders down. Like you got no cap room for, no restrictions, and you just getting all the best players. And that's exactly what they are. So, I mean, they'll be fun to watch for sure. And I mean, it's just not a ton of value on these guys anyway, in my opinion, anyway.
I've been playing a lot of out of the park in the during the winter, Lonte, and I've been sacked 4 times as GM now. I'm on my 5th team in MLB. I'm not very good at it, is the short version of that. Data Metal Machine wants to take the under on the Shohei Ohtani hits, which is a nice angle. That's the kind of angle you have to look at because any IL stint with him pitching. So yeah, the Dodgers added Kyle Tucker, which was more lefty power. They brought in Edwin Diaz as the closer. So the lineup is terrifying. You're right. All the way down to 8th, they've got like 2+ WAR players. Andy Pius is down there as 8th. He took a huge step forward last year. If you want a nitpick, which is the term you used, it might just be the age. Like Mookie, Freddie, Teoscar, Max Muncy are all over 33. But even that's not old. It's just a tiny little splitting of hairs if you want to look at it. The rotation, it looks brilliant without Ohtani. It looks better with Ohtani. Last season, this is what I think where the Dodgers managed things really well last year, was that you had to use all kinds of SPs in the early part of the season. Yamamoto, Kershaw, May, Glasnow all started 18 or more games. But then, in behind them, Sheehan started 12, Snell 11, Sasaki 8, Landon Knack 7, Gonsolin 7. They had 11 starters with over 5 starts. So they really had to cobble it together in the early part of the season. And what they decided to do was say, right, we'll just do enough until it's time to put our foot down. So that was kind of the holding everyone at bay, the swinging dwarf thing we were talking about. They just felt like they did the bare minimum until it was time. And then they got Snell and Glasnow and people back at the end. So the bare minimum feels very good. And if all those pitchers stay fit, then it's a much, much higher ceiling. The bullpen in 25 was below average, but it looks a little bit better. The fielding's pretty average too, but it doesn't really make much difference. So, yeah, I'm not betting plus 225 on the World Series. The jump from 93 to 103 wins is big. I I think they can manage it if they play like they did last year. They just don't really have to. And you get the feeling they could ease off a little bit. The projected 97 wins. So I can see 100. 100 wins is a short price. It's minus 192 for them to make 100. So really, there's nothing to say. Watch the Dodgers. Maybe later in the season, maybe if they've had a bad first half or something, there might be some live in play. But I think there's better value elsewhere in this division. And sometimes just you have to watch the Dodgers and just enjoy them. We'll move on. We'll find some teams with a better betting angle. Let me tell you about Kalshi. Real money prediction market, legal in all 50 states. Loads of trading options for your favourite sports. Politics, entertainment. The weather's on there as well. New Kalshi customers get $20 when they use promo code SGPN. That's KALSHI. Promo code is SGPN. And we're brought to you by Rebet, the #1 social sportsbook and casino. Available in over 35 states, including Texas and California. Get on the action with Rebet. 100% purchase match is the offer, up to $100. Promo code is SGPN. Rebet, promo code SGPN. The next three teams are all pretty tight in terms of the books. I was trying to go in order, but there's not much to separate these three. You could throw a blanket over all three. So we'll go with the San Diego Padres, who are 28-1 for the World Series, 15-1 for the National League, plus 750 to win this division, minus 161 to make the playoffs, plus 125 to miss, and the total is at 85.5. I feel a bit for the Padres because they've had a real go at this. Like in age or the last few years where there's a lot of teams haven't tried that hard. San Diego have really tried hard. The ownership have spent a lot of money. They've tried to hang on to the coattails of the Dodgers. And then the owners died and they've had to scale back a little bit. And it just feels like they've missed the window because they did have a right good go at it. They lost Dylan Cease, Ryan O'Hearn, Suarez, Luis Arias moved on as well. Retained Michael King. I think he's important. And they've added a couple of interesting pieces. Nick Castellanos is an interesting player if he can rediscover some of the power. And Sungmin Song, who came in from Korea or Japan, I want to say Korea. He's a really versatile player. And then they've added Herman Marquez, which is a bit of a signing at the back end of the rotation. The lineup looks all right. The top four is rock solid. They need a little bit more luck, really. I think they need to unlock a bit more power and hit lefties better. They didn't hit lefties better at all last year, if they can get to that. The rotation, King, I like. Nick Pivetta was very, very good last year. He took a step forward. I've been waiting for Nick Pivetta for 2 or 3 years, and he finally got there. And then Musgrove, I don't mind. The bullpen was excellent. They had the best pen in MLB. The other thing is that they haven't got much left on the farm because they've used it. We just said they've had a right good go for 3 or 4 years. But the problem with that is they've hemorrhaged a lot of their prospects to try and get these big names in. So it does leave them a little bit short. I see a big difference in the projections here. Fangraphs have got them at 79. So if you think that's right, if that's kind of where you are with them. That under 85.5, that's a big gap. The value play for me, and I'm not really keen because the Padres and Diamondbacks and Giants are so close together. I've got the Padres to finish 4th in the division at 5-1. Now, I'm quite high on the Diamondbacks, which obviously we're going to get to in a little minute. The Giants and the Padres, then you're kind of tossing a coin between them, which makes 5-1 for what I'm saying is a coin toss, quite valuable. You'd take 5-1 heads every time, wouldn't you? So yeah, that would be my play. I'd take the Padres to finish 4th at 5-1, Lonte.
Yeah, I like that as well. That's a good price and a good breakdown. Yeah, I like them under as well. I mean, they, like you said, I think a couple of things that you said really stood out. So the no youth in the age, which means injuries are more prone to happen. And then whenever you do have those injuries and you're shuffling, all these different pieces, like you don't have any younger guys to rely on. And they're also under new management as well. They got Craig Stamen in, and he's been like early in spring training, he's been kind of tinkering with the lineup. I think a couple of people were asking like Tatis. I think Tatis batting cleanup now. And they were asking him about it, and he was like, he doesn't care about where he hits. So, I mean, the top 4 or 5 of their lineup hitting wise has been fine, but they don't have, like you said, they don't have a lot of power. They were 28th in home runs per game, so they got to clean that up as well. The pitching, I'm okay on. It's just that so I like Pavetta. King is cool as well, but he's coming off an injury riddled season, so he has to stay healthy. Musgrove's back from Tommy John, but again, coming off Tommy John is always kind of an adventure in itself. So, I mean, I think I could see them around like 80-ish wins. Now they do have obviously the high end talent at the top of the lineup to be able to withstand some things, but I don't know about their pitching. The bullpen is elite, so I mean, you don't have to do a ton with the starting pitching, but they have to be more consistent. I mean, we said it year after year. Like they don't have any consistency at all on either side of the plate. Like so, they have to be more consistent. I mean, I think the Dodgers are a tier above. I'm a little bit higher on San Francisco and Arizona than the Padres. So I like that bet that you said the fourth to win. I would put something on that as well. But I like the under as well on the win total. I think they finish around. I think Fangraphs is pretty accurate. I would go between 79 and 81 wins for them.
Yeah, I do like. I know most people do use Fangraphs as kind of the go-to, but their projections, if I want to trust one, they're the ones they're sort of my real go-to one. And there is a big gap like that 6-game gap. The Padres maybe a little bit more glamorous. Just they've got the glamorous names, haven't they? And the fact that they've been around. They were only 3 games behind the Dodgers last year, like we say. But Fernando Tatis is the big name. You've got Zandy, you've got Manny Machado. Jackson Merrill is very, very good. He could do a little bit more this year. And Ramon Laureano is a really important player. So they're not far away. There is a little bit of ceiling as well. But I just think value-wise, with it being so tight, and like I said, the D-backs got me a little bit when I got on to Arizona. So that's why I was a little bit low on San Diego. We can get on to the Arizona Diamondbacks. My notes are all over the place. I've got myself a really nice book of notes, and I even made my own contents page and everything. I'm very organized this year, Lonte. Nothing in MLB is going to take me by surprise this year. Arizona Diamondbacks are for the World Series 66 to 1. And what price for the Padres? Did I just give out? 28 to 1. Okay, so they're considerably shorter than. The National League is 33 to 1. 22 to 1 to win this division, 5 to 2 to make the playoffs, 1 to 3, so minus 300 to miss the playoffs. And the total is at 79.5. So kind of that's where the difference is. Their over-under is where the Fangraphs projection for the Padres is over-under. So this is where the value kind of brings itself in. They were 2 games under 500, finished in 4th place in this division in 2025, Lonte. But I like the Diamondbacks. Can you co-sign any of that? How did you feel about them?
I'm kind of lukewarm on them to be honest. I mean, I'm more so like I'm wondering if we can find a bit for them to lead the league in runs, because I think their offense will be dynamic. I really do. I mean, they have no issue scoring at all. I mean, they were 3rd in slugging percentage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3rd in slugging percentage. Like they can consistently score. 4th in runs per game, 8th in hits and home runs per game. So they're right there in the top 10 of pretty much all the key metrics. So offensively, I don't think they're going to have an issue scoring. Can they be consistent in doing so? That's the main thing. They were also, they did all that scoring, and they were still 27th in runners in scoring position left on base. So they still got some meat on the bone. That's a thing that kind of regresses a little bit. So if they can get, let's just say they can move up to, a little bit below average, like 20 to 21, as far as runners in scoring position left on base. Like that's an additional maybe however many runs it is. I don't know the math off the top of my head, but that's an additional amount of runs on top of what they've already been able to do offensively. So another year under the belt. They are going to miss Gurriel earlier in the season because of some knee surgery. So he's going to come back, and he'll be like a mid-season acquisition when he comes back and kind of ease him in. The pitching is why I'm a little bit lukewarm on him. I mean, so the bullpen is not really that good. I mean, Burns is going to come. Burns is coming back as well, but he's going to miss the start of the season coming off Tommy John, which we just talked about. So I think they're going to go they're going to go Kelly, Nelson, Fott, Rodriguez, and Soroka. I mean that doesn't really do it for me now. That doesn't really do it for me. I know when Burns comes back, those guys will slide back down. But again, he has to kind of ramp back up. It's going to take him at least a month or two to kind of ramp back up and get off of the pitching restrictions and all these things. But offensively, man, I think they're going to be really good. It's just that can they stop anybody from scoring? I don't know if that pitching staff is good enough to kind of get to that 80 win. So I'm slightly under, but I'm not going to bet it, but I would be slightly under for the Diamondbacks. But if I can find who leads the league in runs, like they're going to be one of the teams that I like, and they're going to be one of the teams that I think are going to not be corrected early in the season. So I'm going to look to bet them over, especially at home. I'm going to look to bet them over, where it's a little bit warmer than the rest of the country. Well, most of the country, and I think the ball will be able to fly with the offense. So not all doom and gloom on them, just slightly under.
I've just had a little look for that market. I can't find it on any of my books, but it is an interesting market, Lonte, if it's available anywhere. Yeah, they didn't really lose anybody of note. Zach Gallen went away, had a look around, and then came back and re-signed, as did Merrill Kelly. So they kind of kept that together. Mike Soroka's a name that kind of we've talked about a lot, and he signed as a free agent. Definitely potential there. Is SP5. And then the names of Ryan Nelson, who we've liked in spots. Brandon Pfaadt, who was on our radar, then he fell off. Brandon Pfaadt's tinkered quite a lot with what he's done. And I think this year, a little bit older, I think he'll just settle down a little bit. And then Erod, much better in the second half last year. I was high on him coming into the season, started badly, but seemed to put it right. So I think they can start in a better position. They've got 6 solid names there before you get on to the likes of, like you said, Corbin, Burns. There's another pitching name down there. Blake Walston, I was looking at, who probably won't affect too much. They brought in a couple of veteran bats, which I think will help them out. So Nolan Arenado and Carlos Santana. Old, but just kind of what they needed. They've had a very busy trading year. I think they finished really strong last season. The fundamentals all over look better just with the addition of Arenado and Santana. The core's intact. I love the top 4. I love Perdomo, Carroll, Marte, Marino, the catcher. Good defense. They needed some help defensively, and Arenado and Santana will help that out because they haven't upgraded the pitching. You're right, Lonte. So to help them defensively is kind of the little upgrade. So we haven't got different blokes, but these blokes over here are going to make you look better. So we can make the same blokes look a little bit sharper. Corbin Carroll hit 259. He's better than that. He can get up to 300, steal a few more bags. And Moreno, if he stays healthy. Do you know the other thing Gabe Moreno's going to be great at, Lonte, is the old ABS, the old challenging pitches. Only because, and I don't like to use 2 innings of spring training that I watch. He challenged 3 in a spring training game the other day, and he was shaving corners, and that's going to be a difference. Like if your catcher can just catch you the odd strike, so that's going to be interesting to watch. The bullpen was the problem. They were dog shit last year, 27th in ERA, 26th in strikeouts per 9. They were absolutely all over the place. Ownership have stated it was a priority to sort this bullpen out. Kevin Ginkel is back. Can he step up again? And they brought in a couple of names. Who did they bring in? Paul Sewald, who I don't mind, and then Kate Stroud and Taylor Clark further down. So they were aware that this was the problem, and they've asked to fix it. Ryan Waldschmidt and Tommy Troy, your names out of the minors I'd be looking for. The other thing that caught my eye in the expanded standings was they had a 7-12 record in extras and a 21-28 record in 1-run games. Now, you can say that's bad luck, or you can attribute it to something else. You can say it's because they weren't as clutch as other teams. But if you can turn around 3 of those extra innings games and then 3 of those 1-run games, all of a sudden you've got yourself to 86 wins. So the transitional, I think they've got upside. They can stay in contention and buy at the deadline. This is my D-backs take. I think you could live bet them in June. But I like the over. In fact, I love the over. 79.5 is one of my favourites. And just like I had the Padres to finish fourth in the division, I've got the Diamondbacks to finish second in the division at 4-1. I think that's a nice play as well. Assuming at that point we might as well back the Giants to finish third in the division because we've covered everyone. Lonte, I've got this absolutely nailed down from 1 to 5. It's really
isn't there?
straightforward.
There's markets where you can bet like exact order of finish. I think DraftKings and FanDuel do it. I think they can have you can do exact order of finish. I would love to have they do this in golf a lot, especially with how good that Scheffler is. They do a winner without market. And if they can do a winner without market, that would be really good as far as pricing wise. I would love to see them do that for it if they haven't already. I don't know 100% if they have already.
The only division straight forecast would be one here. Hang on, I've just dragged this up. So you've got the Dodgers first, Padres second at -110. Dodgers Giants at 3-1. Dodgers Diamondbacks 4-1. So yeah, basically. Diamondbacks to finish second is the same price as Dodgers Diamondbacks. So you get no help off the bookies there. They're trying to con you into thinking that they're doing you a favor when they're just not. It's the same old shit. Yeah, you've got to get creative, but yeah, I am quite sweet on the Diamondbacks. So hopefully they can give us a good run to more teams to cover. I'll tell you first about Underdog. Got you covered for Pick'em, almost every sport. You can run for 5,000 times your money. Brand new offer for customers. Play $5, get 75 in bonus funds. Sign up with the code SGPN. And Rhythm has been on a heater for college and NBA picks. You can run predictions off the house model or make your own and play with the sliders. If you're looking to go premium, the promo code is SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off your first month. Download Rhythm. The promo code is SGPN25. Okay, fourth team in a very similar price bracket to the Diamondbacks and the Padres are the San Francisco Giants, who are 60-1 for the World Series. They are 30-1 for the National League, 20-1 to win this division, 2-1 to make the playoffs, -270 to miss, and the total is 81.5. I heard someone on another podcast talking about the Giants, said I can talk about the Giants or I could do 15 minutes on the colour grey. Which would you prefer? Which I thought was a little bit harsh on San Francisco, Lonte, but have you got anything on these boys?
Yeah, I love San Francisco, man. I love them this year.
Shit.
Yeah, I do.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, I love them this year. I think they'll have a good year. I know typically, people don't look at historical landscapes, but like just this organization's just a kind of a winning type of organization that you typically overachieve. New manager, Tony Vitello, no professional experience, but he's had, a lot of success at the college ranks with Tennessee. Over the season, like he's been kind of building the team chemistry, building the camaraderie with these guys. That's something that he's really harped on. And I know managers can be, deciding factors for a lot of things as far as the decisions that they make and all the moving pieces that they have to do as far as lineups and, rotations and when to pull a pitcher and all these different things go into it. And it kind of can be overwhelming for, a new coach with no MLB experience. But I think Vitello will be fine. I mean, he's got some good pieces coming in. I know you got Bader coming in, Molly, Hauser, Arias, who's going to get on base and consistently be there for the backside of that lineup. So, I also like that young first baseman, Bryce Eldridge. I think he'll be fine and contribute if they can get there. They were the Devers trade kind of split their season, so their metrics are kind of like hit or miss. But just overall, I think they can be better with their bats. I mean, they're 26 in hits per game. They didn't strike out a lot. I mean, obviously, Arias is going to help that. They were 25th in batting average. So all these things, I think, can increase. And once they increase, I mean, a player like Arias is going to be able to get on base consistently and, obviously put a lot of pressure on the defense to be able, with a guy on. You can't pitch around a lot of guys. They don't strike out. They were third in Ks per game. They didn't strike out a lot. They really good plate discipline. They were 16 walks per game. So like all of these things add up, and I think they're going to be a team that overachieves. To be quite honest, I mean, I like the rotation of Webb, Ray, and Route. If they can get kind of another guy on the back end to kind of sure it up, because the only thing that's really bothering me is their bullpen. I don't really like their bullpen at all. But again, if those guys, Robbie Ray, I mean, if Ray and Webb usually eats a lot of innings anyway. So if those two guys can be consistent and going, 6 and 2/3, maybe even 7, I think they'll be able to negate a lot of the bullpen success until they get a good rhythm. So yeah, I like San Francisco, man. I'm gonna bet them to finish second in the division. To be honest, I like them that much.
Sorry, you caught me loaded up a new page. Yeah, to be fair, you make a really good case, and a lot of the points that you make are positives. The majority of my points that I made were positive too. The new manager is worth talking about. We never really mention managers. I would repeat that I don't understand what they are in baseball. Someone I heard them described as like the vibes coordinator. That's all they're in charge of, really. They're just the vibes man. But yeah, first ever MLB manager straight out of college. So good luck to Tony Vitello. They lost Justin Verlander, but they added, it was a lot of maintenance, I think was the word we use. Luis Arias, not a good defender, but lengthens the lineup a little bit. And Harrison Bader is important because he sorts their outfield out so they can send Lee to a corner because Lee was struggling in centre. They can send Lee to a corner where he can play, and Bader can play centre field. It was the Devers spend that meant they couldn't add too much. Like they could afford Kyle Tucker, but wouldn't pay for him because they'd put all their money in with Devers. There's no speculation this year about Devers. It was a bit of a mess last year. Boston fucked that up, didn't they? The first base, third base, whatever it was going to be. So there's no speculation. He did start poorly and then turned it on. So he should be all right. I think you're right. Devers will have a good year. Patrick Bailey, they've got the best catcher, who's the worst hitter in baseball. A bit more out of him. Tyler Marley and Adrian Hauser were more maintenance. I quite like Landon Roop. Every fifth day, if we get Landon Roop, especially early on, I think there'll be some value in there. The bullpen was brilliant last year. ERA of kicking around 4. K per 9 was 11th. Home runs per 9 was 4th. Walks per 9 was 3rd in MLB. So you can make a case that they finished strong last year. And if they continue in that vein, you can easily get them to 85, 86, Lonte, which is well over the total and also puts them where I think Arizona are going to be, which is second behind the Dodgers on 86 wins. So, yeah, we've made a similar case. I don't mind your case at all. It's we've made the same cases, but for two different teams, you know what I mean? Which is what it's all about at this stage. So, one more team. A little bit trickier to make a case, but I found some bets. Well, this is the bet that is the same but different as a bet I made last week when I was talking to Dylan. We've got the Colorado Rockies, who are, for the World Series, 500 to 1. 300 to 1 for the National League. 300 to 1 for this division. 28 to 1 to make the playoffs. Win total is at 54.5. Lonte, I like springing these questions on you. Without cheating, what was the Rockies' run differential last year?
Man, this is cheating. I saw this. I was going to put this in my notes, but it was if I'm not mistaken, it was plus 421.
It was minus.
Minus. Yeah, I'm sorry. Minus
424.
Okay. I was close. Yeah, I saw it. That was. I was gonna put it in my notes, and I was like, "This is absurd."
Fucking hell, that's a lot, isn't it? Minus 420. It was absolutely astonishing. Like,
yeah. Then the next one up was like one, like it was like 212 or something like that, right?
Absolutely incredible. They won 43 games last year, 25 at home, which was kind of the issue because at least you've always felt at home sometimes weird things would happen and you'd get a little run out to Colorado at a big price, but that never happened at all. Now, the projected 66 wins on Fangraph. So immediately, with that line at 54.5, that's a huge old gap. So if you are very analytical and you're a Fangraphs person, 66 wins. You'd be taking the over. They lost to Man Marquez, who we've already mentioned, has gone to the Padres. They added, next to nothing. Troy Johnson, who was a first baseman. Oh, yeah, I've got another question for you, Lonte. Jake McCarthy, outfielder. Do you know he had 80 high school touchdowns in
I didn't
football?
know that.
Yeah, fucking 80 touchdowns.
I
He
didn't
beat
know that.
which running back to the high school running back of the year award?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Saquon Barkley is the answer.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, Saquon Barkley finished second to Jake McCarthy in areas playing outfield and trying to steal.
Wow, man, that's
It's
crazy.
great, isn't it?
That's
That
crazy.
was just another spring to. For some reason, I lay in the bath and watched the Rockies in the Diamondback spring training game the other day. And they were telling us all about Jake McCarthy. They added Eddie Julian from the Twins, who a couple of years ago there was a bit of fanfare about him. And then I think the Twins just ruined him like they've ruined everyone else. So maybe he comes back. They actually added a couple of veterans in the rotation that I don't mind. Michael Lorenzen, we enjoyed a lot last year. Him and Michael Wacker and Seth Lugo. There was like those three old blokes on Kansas City that we like to pick. Lorenzen was perfectly fine. Jose Quintana, and then Tomoyuki Sagano, who's come across from Baltimore. So they're not without hope. If they can plod along and stay competitive, maybe they can win some games. The lineup, Tovar's good, Goodman is good, and Brenton Doyle, they're all serviceable. Willie Castro's come in. He can play anywhere, which helps them out. And I like the bullpen. There's a lad called Juan Mejia, who's young. RJ Petit, who is massive. He's like 6'8". He's got feet like an aircraft carrier. So he's good for it. And Victor Vodnik is the closer. I think he'll be okay. They're projected to be so bad, it's hard to find a bet. But I'm going to give them a little chance here. I think if they can get back to being competitive at home, at least, there's a load more wins in Coors Field that they should have. If those veteran SPs can just go and throw like 150 innings each, just keep turning out every day, stay competitive, maybe then turn it over to this young bullpen, which I think might be all right. And they can help you just keep you in the game, keep you in the season. So I would take the overs. But my Colorado bet is really a Washington bet. And it's Washington to have the worst record in MLB. It's 7-1. But in a way, it's a Colorado bet because it's Colorado not to have the worst. Because I think it's a 2-horse race. Colorado are minus 400 to have the worst record. But I'm going to give them a little chance. And I think Washington could be dog shit. So it's a Washington bet, but it's a Rockies bet. So Washington to have the worst record. It's 7-1, Lonte. It was my way of trying to fiddle a bet out of something. Just before you go on, mate. Data Metal Machine has pointed out that the Giants got a couple of pitches in WBC. So that might just be an angle to watch out. Whether or not they come out of that stronger or otherwise, we don't know. But yeah, that's a really good point, Data. So thank you. Sorry, Lonte, I interrupted you. Carry on.
No, you're good. And I like this Colorado team.
Yes,
we saw at the end of the year, like they were really competitive. They were winning games. Some games that they probably like had no business winning. They cashed big tickets. They were more competitive in the first 5 than I've seen them in a while. And, they just don't have the type of players to be able to finish those games. So I think that kind of comes back to fruition. They're young, they're inexperienced, which could be, to their like credit because, or to their advantage because it's not a lot of, it's not a lot of film on these guys, not a lot of data, which obviously we know that MLB is, a heavy data-driven league. You hit it on the head, man. I like Lorenzen. I like Sagano. They come in, they're a calming force. You kind of know what you're going to get from them. The 150 inning mark is kind of the thing that I want to see them as well. I'm a big fan of Hunter Goodman. I think he's a star. He was the first player in club history to win the Silver Slugger Award. They went and got a new pitching coach. And I think that's going to kind of help those younger guys kind of ascend a little bit quicker than they want to. They're all about player development, so that's what they've been talking about, kind of player development and really keying in on these guys' strengths to get them better. So it might be some growing pains early, but I do think if they can like tread water and not like start off like 0-15 or whatever, I think they'll be fine to get over this number. I like that bet that you said with the not finishing with the worst record. Like I think they got a shot to win 50 plus games, man. I mean, like you said, they're gonna go to Quintana, um, they're gonna go Quintana, Lorenzen, Sagano, Freeland. I don't really like. I do think that Feltner is kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
If he can be a little bit more consistent, and he was up and down. If he can be a little bit more consistent, I think they'll be fine. I like the young bullpen, like you talked about. Like their metrics were, so they were 29th in runs per game, but 23 in hits per game. So they were able to, hit the ball okay. They're like a little bit below average, but they just weren't able to score. And I think with time and development, I think they'll be able to do so. The top of the lineup have to be really good. Started off by Hunter Goodman. They were also 30th in walks per game. They didn't have any plate discipline, so they got to be a little bit more disciplined there. So if they can rise up those rankings, those three rankings by 3 or 4 spots, I think that can result in a couple of more wins. So I'm gonna go over. This is one of my favorites of the year. Colorado over is one of my favorites on the year.
Okay, I think we've said just about nice things about everybody there. We're high on, well, I mean, the Dodgers don't really count, but we're high on the Diamondbacks, high on the Giants, high on the Rockies. I think the Padres are the one team that we weren't negative on, but we're just a little bit sort of middle of the road, the San Diego Padres. Yeah, that's all 5 teams covered. I think my favorite plays from this are, I like the Diamondbacks over. I like the Rockies over. And I do like the Diamondbacks to finish second in that division at 40-1. I was just looking if I can get a price on the Diamondbacks to win 90 games, which seems like a lot, but you're only young ones. To record 90 wins, Arizona are, don't tell me they're not listed. 90 wins. Plus 425 to win 90 games. I maybe want a little bit bigger than that. But Lonte, what's your best bets for this division?
I like that San Francisco. You said it was Dodgers, San Francisco to go second. What was that? You said it was 5-1?
4-1, I think.
4-1. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite bets. I like the over, obviously, for San Francisco. The San Francisco over would be my best bet, just for like a little bit of a longer shot. That 4-1 to go Dodgers, San Francisco. I think that's well worth a shot. So those will be my 2 go-to plays for the NLS.
Cool. I feel like I know a little bit more than I did 45 minutes ago. I hope everyone else feels the same. Very much feeling our way into the new season. The things to look out for next are the AL East with Scott and Dylan on Monday. And then myself and Dylan will do the AL Central on Wednesday before Scott and Lonte finish with the AL West on Friday. So 3 more divisional previews to come in the next week. As I said at the top, if you are a regular listener or even a newbie, just give us a thumbs up, or if you make a comment in Spotify, anything like that, just helps the algorithm force us down someone else's ears. Lonte, anything to tell the people before we let them go?
And we're getting ready for a good season. You know what, man? I think that our Monday episodes are going to be back. We got to get Scott to orchestrate that. But yeah, I'm feeling good about the season, obviously. But once we hit June or July, it's just like, all right, we got to kind of get back into the excitement that we have right now. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. I think we all do a good job of bringing our own unique angle, and the new people who are joining us. People probably won't join us until like probably after March Madness, but once they do, we'll be good to go. We'll be good.
We need an NBA bet, Lonte. Bear Commanders needs a little bankroll builder.
I like Atlanta. Anything under 10. I like Toronto minus 3.5. Those are the 2. And I like the Lakers, but the Lakers line's probably gone. I kind of bet some 3.5. I think it's down to 1.5 right now. But those are the 3 I like.
There you go. I'm getting you into the World Cup this summer as well, Lonte.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
You're going to be World Cup crazy by the time I've finished with you. Right, thanks, mate. That was loads of fun. Proper enjoyed having a chat with you. As I said, keep an eye on the schedule for the picks. We very much appreciate everyone joining us. Good luck with whatever you're betting on over the next few days, and we will see you all down the road. Cheers.